Coming up on the Empowered Woman podcast.
I've watched Marta grow this amazing business and community of women to empower women to be visible.
I would say that my experience of you, Marta, is that you do just have this uncanny knack of being able to bring things forward. I've had a lot of coaches and a lot of training.
Welcome to the Empowered Woman podcast, the #1 show on personal growth, visibility, and profit for women entrepreneurs. If you're wanting to get empowered to be seen, stand out on social media, stages, TV, and more to make an impact with your voice in business, you're in the right place. I am so glad that you're here. My name is Marta Spurk, and I'm your host, empowerment coach, visibility and marketing expert, and all things motivation extraordinaire. Welcome again, and let's dive into today's episode. Usually, as I am mid-launch, I try to set up a conversation with clients that have decided to jump aboard, because you can hear about, the program from the person that's doing it, but it's also helpful to hear from others that have decided to join in case you have other questions, or you may even resonate with the things that they say and where they're at in their business. And if you're on the fence, this could be it. So I am very grateful to be joined today by Deb Kramer and Gina Fontaine, who are people I have known for a while and worked with before. So I'm excited for them to share more. I do want to say, besides having this conversation being focused on the More Visibility Mastermind, I've decided to make a pretty awesome resource available this week as a little bit of a taste of the mastermind that's called 30 plus visibility ideas. And this was really just a brain dump of, if I had to sit here for an hour and do things that will actually move my business forward, what does that look like? And it's a variety of things, and you can, pick whatever you want to do. You can do one of them, you can do several of them, and it's guaranteed to move you forward, because you're going to be putting yourself in front of people that you can make offers to. That's all that it boils down to. So if you're interested in that resource, right now, it's only available inside my new Telegram channel. So I'll make sure and add that link in case you're interested in getting it. But without further ado, let's hear from these amazing ladies. I would love to have you to introduce yourself. So we'll go in turns and then we'll start going through some of the questions. Deb, tell us more.
Hi, I'm Deb Kramer. I have met Marta through the Polka Dot Powerhouse Women. It's a connection group, women's connective group and networking. And I've been a hairstylist for almost 4 decades and a salon owner for more than 2 decades. And how I came to ask for Marta's services is I became a coach 3 years ago. And I've been in my head, worrying about my niche, trying to get it right, trying to do the best things, and really did a lot of learning and stuff behind the scenes, and yet not doing enough to move the needle of my business forward. And with one time of getting on a call with Marta, where she helped me with my human design reading, finally just my niche came about, because she had said, I recognize this and this in your design, and it's totally pivoted. I'm totally moving forward. So thank you. Hopefully that's enough.
Oh yeah, no, that's amazing. And I didn't know you had been a hairstylist for, oh my gosh, 4 years. That's amazing. That's why you're always busy doing all the things.
Yes.
Thank you so much for sharing. And it was, human design is an amazing tool too. And that is something that I will definitely infuse in the mastermind for those that are interested, because it is helpful to get some direction when it comes to what's a better fit for you, what resonates for you. And then when you have something that confirms what you're already feeling, you get a little bit more of the motivation to move forward with it. It's not just someone telling you, it's this tool that is just explaining that. So I'm so grateful that you got clarity with that. And Gina, tell us more.
Hello, Marta. Thank you for having me on. I'm Gina Fontaine, and I've been in wellness. I've been a wellness practitioner for 3 decades, and been a fitness trainer, been a yoga teacher, written a book. And now I'm the client center manager for Saraset, which is a franchise that is a relaxation process for the brain to help people get out of stuck stress patterns in their lives. I have known Marta since the Empowered Women School was an idea in her head, sitting over a cup of coffee, and then I think I was her first member to join the Empowered Women School, and so I've watched Marta grow this amazing business and community of women to empower women to be visible. And Marta stood alongside me. I think we stood alongside each other would be more appropriate when we were writing our books, and launched them within months of each other. And she was instrumental in helping me be more confident in being visible about promoting my book. And that was now 2 years ago. So
Crazy to think about. I know, I was just thinking about that because I remember your launch day was September 21st.
wow, good memory. Yes.
Yeah, and you had the book signing, the party, and I was there. It was a huge inspiration to me, honestly. I've told you this before, but I'll say it again, because I was kind of sitting on my manuscript. And then when we started working together one-on-one, because that was the focus of I'm getting this book out and I really want to build a business to back up the book. The book was a huge focus, and I was very motivated. So you had a huge influence in me actually moving my butt and getting the thing out, because it's a scary thing. I mean, nothing about visibility is just a walk in the park. Let's just be honest here. It involves a lot of fears and potential rejection. But you were a huge motivation. And after going through that, with you in the launch and all of that, I got everything ready by that December. So it was a few months behind, but you were a huge motivating factor there. All right, well, let's talk a little bit more about where you are in your business right now and the need for visibility. What does that mean to you, and why joining the mastermind made sense for you? Also, because both of you have worked with me before. So we've talked about these things in other capacities. So why, where are you now in your business, and why did it make sense to you to join the mastermind? Deb.
Yeah. It's so funny. I was listening to you, and then I was kind of got in my head for a minute. I'm like, oh my gosh, I didn't realize this was going to be kind of like this kind of setup format, or I would have gotten ready.
Oh,
so I'm like,
fine.
okay, so I apologize for like get out of bed look.
No. And this will be a podcast episode, so it's good.
Yes. Yes. Okay. Thank you. Okay. So really quickly, what are those questions again?
Yeah. So where are you now in your business? You kind of touched on that, but let's get more specific here. And then how do you see the mastermind being something that can be helpful to you at this particular moment?
Okay. So where am I now? I'm almost completed with my landing page, and I never did have a website or landing page because all the business programs said, don't do it. And so I didn't do it for all this time. And the old Debbie, the salon owner, would be for sure getting all that done, because that's part of being professional and establishing my authority. But I'm glad I waited, because I did hover and wait, or not hover, but big second guessing in my head. But where I'm at now, because of Marta, is that I am moving forward. Now I have something I can share with people, and I'm really, really, I'm still nervous of letting myself get out there. Like you said, it's funny because I don't identify with, oh, am I worried about getting rejected? But yet it is that. It is that. Like, I'm afraid of I'm somebody who can be super vulnerable really easily. But yet when I do it, like, let's say on social media, I'm like, well, how can I be vulnerable and also still establish authority? So that really messes in my head. Like, oh, if I do that, they're going to think, why would I want to hire her? And so, yeah. And then I think how this is going to be helpful is I've been working on this for a long time, is Marta's really good from working with her with, okay, we're going to do this step and this step and this step. And just really being able to get one thing done and another thing done, and just getting that forward momentum. That's my big thing. I've been in with all the processes without the movement, without the money, without the impact for other people and stuff. So yeah, I'm excited to move it forward, and then to have more of a community that you've created to be able to work with them.
Yes, definitely.
Thank you.
And super proud of you for getting the website going. Odell's watching, and she said, because of Marta, my website will be ready soon. And this is one of those things, I'm glad you said that, that people, other mentors and other, gurus out there have said, you don't really need it. And this is one of those things where it's true, right? It's not black and white. There are many people out there that don't even have sales pages for their courses. They just slap, a Google Doc together and they make sales that way. That doesn't mean it doesn't work. But one of the things that I really believe in, and especially when you're really involved in networking like we are, it's really helpful to be able to send people somewhere, and for getting very specific about who you're serving. Because many times we don't have that in place because we are not even sure of what we're offering. So when you're forced to do the exercises, because when you're working with somebody, a graphic designer, they have you usually fill out a pretty comprehensive questionnaire of who are your, who's your ideal client, who are your competitors. And if you don't know what you're doing, you can't even think about who the competition is because you don't even know who you're helping. So all of those things help you get clearer, which in turn helps your messaging get clear so that people actually recognize that they need your services. So super proud of you for going and taking action in that direction, because then in being a part of the mastermind, you can now validate that with the other members. So it's not just me. And that's really what I liked about it. So I'm glad you mentioned that, is not only the community aspect of it, but also the exposure. This is one of the things that I was telling Gina when we were talking about having her join, is this is instant visibility, is just being a part of this group, because you're going to have to be talking about your business in front of other people other than me. So what is that? Potential clients, potential referral, right? And it adds to that vulnerability that you already have on social media that you said, yeah, it is tricky at times because you don't want to lose your credibility by being vulnerable. And that's one of those things that is a fine line for sure. But it's also an opportunity for you to put yourself in front of other people besides social media as well. So thanks for sharing that.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Yeah. What about you, Gina? Where are you at in this moment, and why did the mastermind make sense to you?
So we opened Sarasett Cherry Creek in March of this year, 2023. And I'm about 6 months into the business, and it's a big shift for me because I went from a lot of online fitness training and yoga teaching to now I'm in a center at brick and mortar. And it's been a lot of, nose to the grindstone, get the pieces in place, the foundation in place, going to a lot of in-person networking events. And I've kind of let the social media, I just said, you know what, I can't put energy into that right now. I need to put my focus here. And I'm realizing that I can spread my wings and fly, so to speak. And I miss being visible. Like the year that I was promoting my book heavily and doing the Supermom Club daily on camera, I welcomed the break, but now I'm like, gosh, I really miss getting out there and speaking. I'm going to be speaking this afternoon at noon, and it feels so natural. Like the days that I know I'm speaking, I amplify, and it feels great to be in that energy. And so the visibility piece, we're ready to grow. Like I have a new employee starting, and we're kind of in that if you build it, they will come mode. And so now it's my job to say the doors are open, come in, and help get the word out that what we're doing is really transforming lives. And I don't take that word lightly. We truly are transforming lives. I mean, I've had like a psychotherapist of 40 years tell me that happened, and that is huge to me. And so it's not just, what's different is I'm not promoting like my brand. I'm promoting a service that is here to help humanity in a huge way. So it feels more like service work than promotion.
Yeah. That's beautiful. And I love what you said, that you welcome the break, but now you're ready. Because here's something else that people out there need to, recognize, is that there are seasons in business. And I think because I am very visible, and that's something that I really enjoy, oftentimes people assume that they need to do things the way that I do. And what I have learned even from this whole experience in my business is that my role here in Human Design Explains is to showcase possibilities. This is what I'm here to do, and that's why I enjoy doing these things, but it doesn't mean that people have to do everything that I do to be successful. And that's where understanding yourself individually comes in handy, because then it's like, my desire is to do this. Here's the person that can help me with this, as opposed to let me just do exactly what that person has done in their life. And oftentimes we do that though, right? When we start seeing somebody that's super successful, we assume that we have to do every single thing, like every single step, right? When you wake up, what do? And you have to focus on your own journey and understand that there are seasons for it. And this is really this was my thought process behind this mastermind is, why not use the last quarter of the year as an opportunity to build momentum to start the year strong as well, and focus more on your visibility in case you haven't been very visible, or if you have, being more intentional, because there are lots of people that are doing some social media, that are doing some speaking, but there's not really a structure behind it or intentionality. And that's where being in a container with others is helpful. And this is true for me as well. I'm a part of a mastermind right now, and it adds to the accountability of having to report to someone else, here's what I'm doing, and have people check in on you and say, well, you said, right? So it's just different. It's just the way that it is. When somebody else other than your brain knows what's going on, you operate differently. And we all, in some capacity, crave to be visible. Obviously, we're all different, and especially when it comes to business, it's not just a craving, it's a necessity. Otherwise, how will people know, right? Awesome. Thank you so much, ladies, for sharing. And I'd love to ask one more question and then have you talk about how people can connect with you and what specifically your services are. Is then why would you recommend somebody joining the mastermind and being a part of this amazing group that we have started, and we're getting started with the calls? What would you say to someone that is on the fence, or maybe someone that doesn't really know why it would benefit them? Deb.
Well, I would say that my experience of you, Marta, is that you do just have this uncanny knack of being able to bring things forward. I've had a lot of coaches and a lot of training. And my big thing was trying to make my circle of myself go into the square.
Mm.
And with human design, you kind of help me. And so I feel like whatever you create for the mastermind, and the people that are drawn to you, people who've been already in your container, I just think that it's going to be a smart thing, because I'm going to get more of it, and in a different capacity than I've had already, as well. So plus I think that why not?
Mhm. I like that. And I gotta
Yeah.
say, when we first started talking and you told me all the programs that you had been on, I mean, big names, big money, I was like, crap, those are big shoes for me to fill. Will I, be able to make a difference and, support you in a different way? And have you get something out of this experience that is different from what you have already been on? And I'm very grateful to hear that that has been the experience, and that we get to continue on to bring in more progress as well. So thank you so much for your trust.
Yes, thank you. And I just want to say, you kind of touched on it earlier. I wanted to say that you have the way, you brought it more personal. You didn't just say, and you also validated that there's not one way. And that's what I knew in my heart.
Mm.
But what you're helping me find my own design, my own way of being in the business, that it's not just a plug and play. So
Mm.
I'm really grateful for that.
Yeah. And I have to say, this has been a reflection of my own frustrations with taking the courses and working with people and resenting mentors at times. I've said this openly. And I know it's a personal thing. Obviously, everyone is different, and some things I don't necessarily agree with. But regardless, it's no one else's fault other than, not my fault, but it's my responsibility, right? I choose to do things the way that I do them, and assuming that there is a formula, or having someone tell me that there is a formula it generally never really works out. It's like a starting point, sure, so that you can get moving, but then understanding that we're also different. So we have to find what works for us. And what works for me today may not work for me a month from now. And being okay with that, because everything is a huge experiment. So thank you
Yeah,
so much.
absolutely.
What about you, Gina? What would you say to someone that is on the fence?
Well, I would say if you're on the fence, you're hesitating. And if you're hesitating, you probably need a nudge or maybe even a push. And and likely, money can always be that factor that's like, oh, it's such an investment. And I will never forget my very first coach that I worked with in 2016. And I mean, at the time, $500 a month was a huge investment. And I just remember her saying, once you take the step, the planks are going to show up. Like with every step that you take, you don't have to see that the money's there because it's going to show up. And ever since I took that step in 2016, and I step out into what looks like nothingness all the time. And it's just become a way of life for me. So trust yourself. And if you're feeling that, that little chirp that's saying, oh, I really want to be part of this group and I want to grow and I want to be visible, I'm kind of scared, that the group will help you grow, because that you talked about accountability, and that's a big piece for me, because I can get stuck sitting in my office by myself. And as an entrepreneur or a solopreneur, you can get stuck in that world of your own mind that plays tricks on you. And then when you set goals and you have people reminding you of what you're going to do, it pulls you out of that place where you're sitting alone in your office making up stories that aren't even true. So
Yeah,
let's build dreams together.
oh my gosh, I know. And it's empowering to cheer someone else on and to see their wins, and also the vulnerability piece sometimes when things are not working so well. I think that that's what's nice about being in a small group too, is somebody coming and say, hey, I had a horrible day. I know in my mastermind, the mastermind that I'm a part of, I should say, I came on one day in a voice clip and I was like, a client was just super nasty to me, asked for a refund, and I don't know what to do. And everyone was like, oh, do this, oh, do that. Oh, I'm so sorry. Like, you don't feel so alone, because it is a lonely journey in many ways. And at times sharing it with family is just not the same, because they don't fully understand as other entrepreneurs would as well. So I know I am grateful for the groups that I'm a part of, and this will be another one for us to support each other as well. All right, Deb, I'd love for you to share with us how people can connect with you. What are the things, what specifically you're offering? So here's your opportunity to talk about your niche and the people you're focusing on, and yeah, how they can work with you.
Awesome. Thank you. Yeah. So you can reach me now with my website landing page, actually, at debkramercoaching.com. That's debkramercoaching.com. Oh, and quickly, I had drama over my business name too. I kept changing it over and over. And finally, I'm like, okay, I'm not going to change my stinking name. So that's it.
There you go. That settles it.
And yes, that settles it. And what other question again? Sorry.
So who do you serve? What?
Oh, yes. Thank you. My mind went squirrel. That's an issue. Okay. So I serve women who tend to say yes, that they really want to say no. I help empower them, help them, give them practical strategies and tools. I help them feel worthy, and help them lose the guilt that they have, so that they can really feel empowered and show up in life authentically themselves, so they can live their life wholeheartedly.
So good.
Yeah, people-pleasing tendencies. That's the thing. It's people-pleasing tendencies generally.
Right. Set those boundaries, say no.
Yes.
Well, no is what is it they say is a full sentence? Isn't that? There's like,
oh, yes, exactly. Right.
You don't need to add anything else, right? When you say no, like, I'm so sorry.
Yes. The disclaimers.
Exactly.
It's okay.
It's just no, end period. Awesome. Well, I'll make sure and add that beautiful link that is now live to the show notes of the podcast, so everyone can go and connect with you and find you also on social media under Deb Kramer. And Gina, tell us more what Sarah Said is, how can people benefit from it? And I know you have a class coming up too.
Yes. So Sarah said it stands for cerebrum reset. So your cerebrum, think your brain. Well, I believe in business, your most valuable asset is your brain, right? Because your brain is your CEO of all functions in your body. So if your brain isn't functioning optimally, and I have yet to meet a person who scored a 100% on what we call our personal brain index, there's always room for growth and improvement. And you don't have to be you're distraught or depressed or dealing with PTSD to come see us, although we do work with those populations. You could be just a person that says, hey, I want to prevent cognitive decline in my older years, or I want to sleep better, or I want to wake up feeling in a steady mood every single day. And that's where we come in. And the Saraset technology there's nothing else like it out there. It's not like neurofeedback or biofeedback, other technologies. We're actually recording your brain and letting you listen to it in real time. And then your brain corrects itself. It's pretty amazing what we're watching happen with our clients in a span of a week, because we do our sessions so quickly over a week. And so it's very different for me because I had been in, ginafontaine.com and buy my book, and now it's Saraset, CERESET.com. And we're the Cherry Creek location, if you go to the locations. And we are today, Thursday, October 12th at noon, I am doing under pressure, the influence of stress on your executive function and cognitive ability, and talking about that in a lunch and learn. So I have it in person in this room I'm sitting in right now, and I will be streaming it on Zoom, so I can provide that link, and I will also be recording it. So I have a recording of this valuable session about, because stress can become like a drug. I realized that I was a stress junkie prior to doing Saraset, and you kind of get addicted to that adrenaline rush that stress gives you. And I'm going to talk about how you can calm the stress.
We all need that. No one can claim that they're completely stress-free.
No.
There's always something going on, especially as a parent as well. Add that to the list.
Right.
All right. Well, I'll make sure and add all the information. Thank you so much, ladies. I so appreciate your time. I am so looking forward to our time together in the next 10 weeks as we get started. And yeah, I appreciate everyone that tuned in. I'll make sure and add the link not only to the details of the mastermind, all the details of investment, all that you get, all that's included, but also invite you to join my Telegram channel called Get Visible with Me, where you can have access to more trainings and to the 30+ visibility ideas resource. Thank you so much. Thanks so much for tuning in today. I hope this episode empowered you. And if you enjoyed the show, please join the Empowered Woman community on Facebook and share with friends, or leave a review on iTunes so more people can discover this empowering message. Until next time, bye.